you to be doing. You're asking God to get on board with your ministry, with your thing, and God's saying, I'm not even there. It's very important. We understand this. I hope you understand and see this. Now, this is what we also need to know. If you stay in that book of 1 Peter chapter 5, you go down to verse 9, we need to understand something, that with all the concerns we have, with all the prayers that we're offering up to God, with everything going on in our life, we are not alone. And the last part of that verse, in verse 9, I'm not trying to take away from the word, but this is just part of the, after it says, resist him, stand fast in the faith, and there's a comma there, this is what it says. Knowing that the same sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. In other words, you're not the only one going through with what you're going through with. Remember Elijah? I was just telling you about, this is before God spoke to him in the still small voice. And I need to go back to see, just so you can see where he's at. To me, this is one of the most profound messages in the Bible. You go back to Elijah, and you see this 400-some prophets of Baal and Asherah, and they were worshiping Baal, and they was leading Israel down the wrong path, and King Ahab and Jezebel, wicked king, wicked woman. You guys ever heard that Jezebel cow out there in the field? Is there no coincidence why you don't name your children or girls Jezebel, okay? There's no Jezebel spirit, whatever. Anyway, wicked people leading a nation of God, leading God's people down the wrong path. Elijah confronts this whole situation on Mount Carmel, not Mount Carmel, Illinois, but on Mount Carmel. And here he's up there praying, and the Lord sent down fire, to make a long story short, and then the prophets were killed. God told Elijah told these people, go kill them. They run them through with the sword. End of story. Jezebel gets bad. I'm going to kill Elijah. Send the message to him. Elijah takes off, and here he is. Down under this tree, and he's like, Lord, I'm the only one left. There's nobody in Israel, no, not one, that follows you. He was complaining against Israel. There's no Christians there in Israel. That's what he's saying. There's no followers. There's no believers in Israel. I'm the only one. Now, Lord, it's time for me to die. Elijah's already making up everything in his life right now. Lord, I'm done. Everything's done. Needs to be done. No more followers in Israel. Kill me now. It's over. That's what he's saying. You ever been there? Maybe not so much that you want to die, but you feel like you're the only one. I'm the only one going through with what I'm going through with. I'm the only one that things are happening in my life. I'm the only one. You just don't understand, Mom and Dad. You just don't understand, husband or wife. You don't understand, church. You don't understand what I'm going through. I'm the only one that's ever been through what I'm going through. Yeah. And to some of us it is funny, but some of us are like, well, that's what I feel like. You need to know something. What you're going through is nothing new. I'm not taking away from your experience because I know it's very important to you, what you're going through, okay? Not taking away from that. Elijah, crying out to God, God responds to him in this way. Not the way you would think he would. Now, you know, if your children cry out to you, oh, Daddy, my sisters and brothers, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to take care of the situation. What can I do to help you out, son? That's what a lot of us parents would do, right? Who dare come against my son, my daughter? I'm going to take care of them. God didn't even address Elijah in that situation. After he spoke to him in a still small voice, he said, there are 7,000 that's reserved. It's not bow the knee to Baal. You know what he said to Elijah? Get over yourself, basically. Get up! I've got work for you to do! That's what he was saying, basically, okay? And I'm not adding to the Word of God. You get it yourself, but that's how we would use it today. Get over yourself, Elijah. I got 7,000. You're not alone in this thing. I've got it planned out for you. I've got things for you to do. Get over it. It's time to get up. That's where God wants us today, folks. I know you've got issues, and I know your issues are real, but you're not alone. And you never will be alone. Never will. Know that the sufferings and concerns are going around in the world and are happening to your brotherhood. In other words, to the other followers of Jesus Christ. They're going through these issues. Now, another time in the life of Christ we see in the book of Mark chapter 4. The disciples left the crowd of people. They left the miracles and everything. Jesus said, let's get in the boat. Let's go across the lake. Jesus gets in the boat. And this is where we see Christ's humanity. He's tired. You need to take note of that. For anybody, I'm going to just put a little plug in here for some of you theologians that are having some conversation with non-believers and atheists. And then you're also having a conversation with people who said that Jesus wasn't fully man. Right here, I understand in Mark chapter 4 that Jesus was fully man. Because Jesus got in the boat, and what did he do? He went to sleep. He got tired. Well, I can't believe the Son of God never get tired. He's the Son of Man too. He is willing to put himself in the limitations of a man's body, which means he needed sleep. And so he's sleeping in the boat. The disciples, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. It's a great day on the sea. All that stuff's going on. All of a sudden, boom, a storm hits. The disciples were once experiencing all and seeing all these miracles. If you go back previously and read about the miracles and everything, oh, praise God, what a wonderful service. We fed all them people, all the miracles, people getting healed and raised from the dead and all that stuff. And then now we're in a storm. We're on some very unstable, not even ground, we're on some unstable atmosphere. Water is unstable. Amen? If you don't think it is, just try walking on it. Amen? You can't walk on water unless Christ calls you out to do so, right? So we're on some unstable things here, an unstable atmosphere. And on top of that, we're in a very small craft compared to the atmosphere that we're in. Now, listen to this. It's really awesome if you really take into context what's going on here and how you can apply it to your life. I'm having a hard time not going into Bible study, but here we go. These disciples are on this very small craft, and they're on this water, which is very unstable, and on top of that, here comes some wind. Here comes a storm. Here comes all this stuff going on. And then beyond that, it can't get any worse, could it? Yes, it could, because then this small craft takes on water. The waves are coming over the side, and they're thinking they're going to capsize. And they're out there dipping the water out, and they're trying to get the sump pump out, get the water out of the boat. And they couldn't be more aggravated as to look back and see Jesus asleep in the stern of the ship. I mean, he's to the back, by the way. If you don't know your ship terms. He's in the stern, and he's in the back, and he's asleep. Of all places. He's asleep. Don't forget, he was tired. I'll talk about that another time, about the peace of God. But anyway, they're bailing water out of the boat, and everything's going on. They're trying to make sure this boat doesn't sink, and everything beyond that, a storm, lightning, gale force winds, everything's going on. And then they look back at Jesus asleep, and they said, Lord, don't you care that we're about to sink? Have you ever been there? God, don't you care that I'm about to sink in this life? Don't you care that my life right now being consumed by this vastness of ocean of this world? Don't you care that the whole world is coming in on me? Don't you care that I'm about to sink? All the storms, can't you see it happen, Lord? And it feels like you're a million miles away from me. That's what they're saying. And that's what we've been through at times. And I understand where you're at because I've been there. I know. We've all been there at one point in time. If you haven't been there, you will be there. You're either just coming out of a storm or getting ready to go in another one. That's just life. That's just the way it is. And you're like, it's not fair. That's the way it is. Don't you care, Lord, about where my circumstances are leading me? Don't you care, Lord, about all this? And the Lord gets up. And the first thing he did, peace. He calmed the storm. Whoa. Then he said, why didn't you believe? You see, there's an issue in our lives where some of us ought to be right there, but we're hearing the Lord saying, you've seen the miracles. I brought you out of bondage. I've taken care of you through your whole life. Why aren't you believing me today? At this small storm? You know, Paul talks about these light and momentary struggles. And he's in prison. He's been beaten. He's been shipwrecked. He's been without food and all the stuff. And he's like, light and momentary troubles. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. This is like the hugest, biggest thing in my life. I know hugest isn't the best word to use, but even is a word. But this is like the humongous word, longest situation I've ever experienced. And that's where you're at. And you feel like you're just sinking in the quicksand. You feel like you're sinking in the storms of life. And you just don't know how you're going to pull through. And the Lord's saying, why don't you believe? Don't you know me by now? Some of you are at that point where the Lord's asking, don't you know me by now? Don't you know me by now? Don't you understand by now that I care about you deeply, that I love you, and that I'm more than able to take care of you? And I know these storms seem big to you, but you're looking at the wrong thing. This is our problems a lot of times, folks. We're looking at the storm instead of looking to the one that's over the storm. Amen. There's a song that my sisters used to sing, and my cousin would sing, I know the master. Yeah, the sea and the maker of the wind, whatever that. Do you know the master? Do you know the maker? Do you know that he is more than able to take care, more than able to calm the storm? And here's the thing. Sometimes he will go before you, and he will calm that storm around you. But there's going to be times in your life where he's just going to be a foundation for you and hold you up through the storm. He'll keep you from sinking in the flood, but he'll allow you to go through that storm. At the Texas A&M University, those scientists did a study a few years ago. Dr. Ball shared this with us one time as I was watching him. He said they did this study down at Texas A&M. And by the way, did the Aggies win yesterday or lose? I don't remember or not. It was a good game. But I had to throw that in there. It's kind of, you guys are all kind of tensed up right now. There's this study they were going through, and they created an atmosphere within this building, and they was able to control this atmosphere. And they put plants in there and trees. And in this atmosphere, it was just a still atmosphere like this, and there was no wind. And the trees would grow, but the trees, no matter how big they got, were